much going on. We've had a lot happen in the city, good, bad, and a little bit of the ugly. And even starting today, I want to start off the show just praying for my city because we had another young man that died in police custody, and his family is not only grieving, but they're wanting answers. And so I'm sending my love to Devontae and his family, and asking that the community rally behind trying to get some answers to what happened to him, and also to Mr. Bullock, who died in police custody about 2 weeks ago. And I covered that on the show. As well as I've had two beautiful women that I know in the community who experienced miscarriages this morning. And so I'm sending out love this morning to my community. 2019 is around the corner. And so I'm excited. Despite what we've gone through, I believe that 2019 is going to be a better year. I've learned so much this year. I've learned what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work. And I have a very beautiful African-American young lady here who is a tremendous organizer. Y'all just don't know. I'm ready for her to drop some gems on everyone today. I've been watching her. I connected with her after the video of me with city council went viral. And I've just been sitting back watching the Equity Alliance and just the various things that she's been involved in Nashville, as well as across the state. And I hope we understand that it cannot just be these siloed changes. It can't just be Nashville that's doing something great, or Chattanooga that's doing something great, or Knoxville that's doing something great, or even Memphis that's doing something great. If we're looking to change systemic issues, it's got to be a wave that goes all across the state. That means it's all hands on deck. And 2019 and 2020 has got to be just that. All hands on deck, where everybody is trying to figure out how we can do this work to ensure that we have better education, more resources, job opportunity, equitable treatment, so many things that must happen, right? And so without further ado, y'all know I'm always glad when I don't have to be here by myself talking to the people. I get to have a guest on the show. Miss Johnson is here, and I'm so glad that she came all the way from Nashville.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, man.
It's such an honor.
The pleasure is mine. So just introduce yourself to the people and let them know who you are.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I'm Tequila Johnson. I am originally from born, bred, and buttered Chattanooga, Tennessee. Moved to Nashville in 2004 to attend Tennessee State University, and I've lived there ever since. I'm co-founder and board vice president of the Equity Alliance. We're a statewide organization here, and our mission is to get more minorities empowered in the civic process. We believe in using our voting power in the fight for social justice. So we like to connect the social justice issues to what's happening in our legislature. Just done a huge amount of work in the 2018 election cycle, which is probably where most people know me from. I worked as the statewide manager for the Tennessee Black Voter Project, and also worked as the statewide manager for Black PAC that was in pretty much every state organizing minority voters. So you may have saw several people in Chattanooga with Black PAC t-shirts on, knocking doors, and we kind of were the conveners of that here in the state, making sure we had radio and billboards and all those different things. Just really got my start in politics working on a campaign in Nashville. I'm a data scientist by trade, so I got my start behind the scenes looking at the numbers, looking at how certain amount of population of people were voting and how that affected the legislation, how that affected policy, how that affected our day-to-day lives. And so as I started delving off into those numbers, I realized that 90% of the Democratic voting bloc is Black. However, we don't represent that in terms of the state Democratic Party. Neither do we represent that in terms of elected officials. Even though we're only, 15 to 18% of the Tennessee population at any given moment, we still make up a huge population of the voting bloc, and we do vote. We do vote. We hear a lot of people say Black people don't vote. We do vote. We are probably the most loyal voting bloc next to white men. So we do vote, contrary to what people believe. But I think we don't know what we're voting for. And I think that's where the collective power and just the things that Miss Mott does, which is just being on the front line, being very outspoken, unapologetic, just making sure that people know what's going on and being unafraid to hold people accountable is extremely important. So just hats off to you. And
I appreciate you.
I'll keep you uplifted, send positive vibrations, because
Thank
I know
you.
that has to be draining and it has to take a lot.
It does take a lot. And probably just the thing is just the running around, because it's so many different places that you have to go to try to keep people informed.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm grateful to do that because I want our people to be informed. I want the community to know what's going on, who's responsible for what, how people are voting at the council meeting, with constituents that consistently I can't make it to our county commission meetings. But I do have people who go there who send me information, and I transfer that to the community. So I'm just appreciative that I just have the opportunity to be able to do that. But 2018 was a massive year as far as getting people inspired, getting people educated on voting. We had some significant people like Andrew Gillum, Stacey Abrams running. What are some of the things that you learned from 2018 that you would want to apply in the future? And maybe what are some of the things that you say don't work? Maybe some things that maybe we need to change when we think about voting or we think about running for a public office.
Ooh, so that's a lot. But I will say the number one thing that stood out to me in 2018 was that we need people who energize people in order to get them out to the polls. So you saw like all of this energy around Andrew Gillum and all of this energy around Stacey Abrams. And that was exciting. And I feel as though had we had something like that in Tennessee, people would have been more excited, even though African-American voter turnout in Tennessee was up by 413%.
Say that again.
African-American voter turnout was up by 413%. Tennessee went from being 50th in voter turnout during the 2014 midterm election to being number one during early vote. So we got out to the polls. I don't want to put that out there that we did not vote, but I do think that the energy around voting and what I think it's important to really, really understand, not only should we get out and exercise our right to vote? Yes, I get that. And I also get the pushback with people who don't vote. I see why. And Phil Bredesen, with all due respect, was a perfect example of why Black people say our vote does not matter. Because here this person is that represents this party that we've been loyal to, that we've been told to consistently get out and vote for. And he is on the same side of issues that affect our day-to-day lives. And we're still being told to pick the lesser of two evils. What I did learn was white women don't play that. I almost said a cuss word. White women don't play that, because the minute they realize you 5 steps from being a nigga. Can I say that? Yeah. Oh, okay. I can't say that. Sorry.
It's okay.
The minute they learned they 5 steps away from being one of us, they turned their backs on Bredesen. And we saw that, there was this whole strategy that he would be able to pull moderate Republicans. And when the Kavanaugh vote came out and he said that he would be in favor of it, which I feel like was just a strategy. That's what happens when you have all white male strategies. FYI. I felt like that was just a strategy, but in the same breath, you saw that white women were like, nah,
we're not feeling that.
We're not feeling that. We're going to vote with what our husbands vote with. And so you see Black women leading the Democratic Party because, one, we don't have the option of doing what our husbands are going to do because half of them are locked up, right? So it's just, I saw those systemic issues play out in politics, which was like a big eye-opening experience for me. But I also saw that, one, in the Stacey Abrams race, money is the mother's milk of politics. You need money.
You need money, people.
And most importantly, we need Black money, which is something that we don't have in politics. We don't have our Black business owners and entrepreneurs funding and sourcing our electeds. We don't have that in politics. So what you saw with Stacey Abrams was behind the 8 ball. It took Stacey a while to be able to get these rich liberal white Democrats to support her and put money behind her. So Stacey Abrams came into the game with a deficit because she didn't have that financial backing that your traditional white liberal person running for governor would have had. Neither did Gillum. So it took them a while to really get ramped up. And then once they got ramped up, it was like, okay, now people are investing in Stacey, and you see all of the celebrities and those types of things. But we have to do a better job at planning that out years in advance. Like, we should have known 10 years ago that Stacey was going to run. You know what I mean? Because those are the types of conversations that I've heard from white people who do this type of thing.
They think 5-10 years down the road. And we have like one of the problems that we had here, in particular for state legislator, was for District 28, which represents the majority of the district represents African American people. We had 5 people get up and run for the same seat, which of course split the vote like nobody's business. And we had a person who we had effectively ousted off of our city council be elevated to state legislature.
My people.
But part of that was because it's not that we didn't have good candidates that ran against him. It was just we split too many people we didn't really, a lot of them we didn't know, that weren't really like in the community that we knew like that. And so I don't even think that just from how I've seen people run for office that anybody talks about that really in advance. You just see people pop up during campaign season. And it's like, who are you?
Right.
Man.
I mean, that's terrible. And that's kind of why the Equity Alliance, I wouldn't say the whole purpose, but that's one of the things that we really, really focus on. And that is collective power.
No.
I think that if we all put together coalitions, diverse coalitions of Black people now, because I hate that people dump all Black people in one category. No, we have our intellectuals, we have our artists, we have our activists, we have our business owners, and we need collective power of those people who have influence to sit at a table together to say, this is what we want. Okay, these are the things that we want. Boom. Whatever those things are. And these are the people that we think can provide those things. We find our own people. We fund our own people. We train our own people, and we run our own campaigns. And we put our people up. Therefore, if the whole community is behind a particular person, or all of the influencers in a community are behind a particular person, whoever can come up and run, they're going to lose.
Exactly. Because the community already knows. And we've been involved. The community has been involved at every stage of the process.
But it takes some organizing, and it takes some conversations, some tough conversations, and it takes some putting your ego to the side, which is something that's hard for a lot of people. I know I can say that I struggle with that because I want things to be done my way. I want to, I think I know what's best. But right. I think the thing about being Black is understanding that we have to come together, and we're not all, there's no like one button issue or one button way to deal with Black people. And whenever I'm talking to my white funders or my white organizers, I'm telling them like, no, that's not going to work in our community because not all Black people are like this, and not all Black people are like that. That's what makes us so beautiful and so unique. We come in an array of colors. We all talk different. We have different backgrounds. We have different upbringings, and you cannot just put one thing on the table and think all Black people are going to
come to it.
It don't work like that. You're going to have to do some stuff that reaches to all different types of people. You're going to have India Ari and Lil Boosie. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
what was the reason that you guys started the Equity Alliance, and what has been the biggest win that you would say for the Equity Alliance in 2018?
Okay, so my best friend ran for the school board in Nashville in 2016. And so she came to us, and like I said, I had done some data behind the scenes, but I'd never done like full-on campaign management. I'm a project manager, certified.
My mom's a project manager. Okay.
I'm a certified project manager, but I've never like applied that to any type of political stuff. So she came to me and said, I want to run for school board. My friend, she has 2 master's degrees. I mean, highly qualified, has worked in all types of schools. She's young, she's energetic, she's easy to get along with. I mean, all the things that you would want and a school board representative. So when we went to the community and we said, hey, here's this young Black woman who is working in the schools that wants to run for school board, everybody was just like, oh, we already have our person. They didn't even want to hear us. So we were like, we're going to run anyway. We didn't ask for permission, and we still haven't asked for an apology. So, we ran that campaign and she was successful. She got about 56% of the votes, which was like a school board race in Nashville runs you anywhere from like $30,000 to $100,000, which is unheard of. Most school board elections you can win with like $5,000. So that was a really highly contested race, if you can only imagine. And we won with little experience, with little resources. We won, and it was because we did what we founded the Equity Alliance to do, and that is we were intentional about engagement. We connected the political side with the community and with the field. So we made sure that all three of those things married so that no piece was left out. And from there, we looked at, I remember sitting down and I remember looking at the data and saying, why aren't we talking to, it's a whole bunch of people in this one area. Why aren't we talking to those people? And in politics, once you're out in the field and you're going out to voters, you talk to what they call super voters, or people who are likely to vote. And if you can imagine, they don't really always look like us. So come to find out, that area, which had this highly populated amount of people who could really change the election, was Casey Homes, which is a local housing project in Nashville. So that touched me because I said, man, you mean to tell me if we got all those people over there to vote that we could change any election? Why ain't nobody talking to them? Well, don't worry about them. They're just not going to vote. Like, just dismiss them. Casey Homes is actually about to be torn down. There's all these different plans that they have to house those people, but we know they're not going to, all of those people aren't going to be able to get housing. So it's like those issues, that's where Jacques Clemens and all these issues that happen in these communities, yet we're just disregarding them. Like, they're not going to vote.
And just to cut in, for you, the listener who's listening, Jacques Clemens was shot in the back in Nashville. That was December 2017. Was that correct?
That was Daniel Hambrick.
That's right. Jacques was shot in the back this year. So not only is it, okay, like, forget those people over there, but then they're dealing with these very real issues such as housing, affordable housing, police brutality. And so now we're going to disregard their way of having a voice or a say-so in what happens to them and in their community.
And so that set on my heart. And if like, you can make a ton of money doing data in politics. I could make a ton of money as a project manager. And I have literally,
I'm shaking my head, yes.
Like, I could make a ton of money. I've literally stepped away from those fields because I feel myself being called to a greater, more divine purpose. And that is to reach my people. Like, I know how to communicate with Black people. I know how to communicate with Black people on every level. And so I feel myself being pulled into a greater purpose. And that stemmed from just looking at those numbers and seeing that all those Black people were there. And so one of my friends, Charlene Oliver, who's also the co-founder, she called us together and said, once Donald Trump was elected, we was like, something has to give. Where's the NAACP? Where's the Urban League? Where are all these organizations that have traditionally held down our communities? And when we looked at them, we said, okay, we don't know who's at fault, and let's just take fault off the table. But what we do know is that there has not been any transgenerational leadership in those organizations. And so we can't plug in there. Where do we plug in? And we said, forget it. We'll start our own PAC. We'll start our own C3. We'll start our own C4. And we launched a consulting firm right after. We said, if no one is going to let us in,
kick the door in.
No, we'll build a door right next to you. I mean, because at the end of the day, this isn't about me. This isn't about you. This is about our community. And so that's kind of where we stem from, was the Donald Trump trauma. It was where we stem from. And then in the process of just kind of starting the Equity Alliance, I realized, like, dang, the reason why people like Donald Trump is because he is unapologetic in the way that he speaks to his constituents.
That is
We
correct.
don't agree with him. We don't agree with nothing that he says. but how he says it.
Y'all gotta stay tuned for the second half of the segment. She's going in so hard.
Thank you. Call me off guard.
It's okay. Y'all stay tuned for the second half of the segment. We're going to continue to talk about collaboration, the Equity Alliance. Oh, man. You guys don't want to miss it. Stay tuned for the second half of the segment.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A Christmas Day argument almost turned deadly as Whitfield County deputies say a man choked his own mother into unconsciousness. Marilyn Flanagan taken to the hospital, her son Scott arrested, charged with aggravated assault and obstructing an emergency call, as deputies say he was trying to stop his mother from calling 911 when he choked her. An argument over a car sparked an interstate shooting. Cops say Malcolm Blessing-Green was driving down I-24 with passenger Justin Shepard when an argument broke out whether Shepard would be allowed to borrow a car. Court documents say Shepard allegedly pulled a gun and shot Blessing-Green in the hand. Shepard is no stranger to the law, has a rap sheet going back years. And Chattanooga and Hamilton County recycling centers taking live Christmas trees through the end of January. You can request curbside pickup calling the city's 311 system. Val St. John for Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Hey folks, Jeff Stiles here, talk radio host and infamous technophobe. But I got to tell you, this Facebook Live that Nooga Radio does, it makes sense to me. It really does. Now, we're at 92.7 on the FM dial, but really where you need to go is NoogaRadio.com and just do the streaming audio, 8 to 10 a.m. The first hour is mostly just me just throwing commentary on top of the news. The second hour is me frustrating and irritating you beyond all belief. NoogaRadio.com. Don't miss it. Every weekday.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
You want more business. You want to increase your bottom line. You want to spend less on advertising, imaging your business, and general expenses. You need Trade Bank. When you join Trade Bank, you'll get the benefit of free advertising in our monthly magazine, TradeBank.com, emails, and mailouts. Join Trade Bank now and receive your Trade Bank debit card with trade credits to spend any way you want. Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Call now for a free consultation. 877-2202. That's 877-2202. Trade Bank of Chattanooga.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is your sandwich speaking. Yeah, your sandwich. And you know, you can't find me anyplace but the Mad Philly Sandwich Shop. Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, just off 153 on Shaliford Road. It's in the little plaza. Hey, check out these buns. Yeah, they're Amorosa. All the way from Philly. So bite me. You want a real Philly cheesesteak? Check out my meat. Throw some cheese on it and grilled onions. Oh, yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about. Only at the Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, where you'll always get the real taste of a Philadelphia cheesesteak. Plus hoagies, burgers, sandwiches, salads, fresh cut fries, tater tots, and other stuff. Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, just off 153 on Shaliford Road, right across from Mountain View Service Center. It's in the little plaza. Hey, come on, we're waiting for you here. So just shut up and eat it.
As a small business owner, you know that running a business is no easy task. You're in the office and on your 3rd cup of coffee before most even roll out of bed. That's why you need office equipment and solutions that help keep your business running smoothly. The experts at RJ Young provide office technology that ensures your business's network stays efficient and secure, so you can focus on what truly matters, growing your business. To discover how RJ Young can help your small business grow, visit rjyoung.com/smallbusiness.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga
Expect some leftover clouds, but drier and milder out there for your afternoon. Weather-wise, highs settling into the lower to middle 60s. Tonight, clearing, a little cooler, lows upper 30s. For Saturday, a pretty good day with some sunshine, highs near 55. More clouds, still mainly dry through the day on Sunday. For lunch or dinner, come to Guthrie's, home of the original golden fried delicious chicken finger with their special world-famous sauce. Open daily, locations in Trenton, Signal Mountain, and Ringgold. Go get Guthrie's, it's always good. And I'm Sworn Gene 12, Chief Meteorologist, Pat Report.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
It's that familiar voice. Y'all know what it is. The hottest radio show is Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. It's almost the end of the year, you guys, and I couldn't just leave you guys without hope, without some gems, without knowledge. Y'all know what I do. I connect you. I want you to be informed. I want you to be educated. I want us to make better decisions about how we're going to live in the city of Chattanooga, right? The dynamo of Dixie. And so I was so appreciative. Miss Tequila Johnson decided to come on my radio show, just a little person like me, who's been building this large momentum for 2018, from voting to black PACs, which is funding for those who don't know what a PAC is, which is funding for political campaigns. So just all of this amazing energy that has just been flowing across the state. And one of the things that we were talking about before we broke for the second half of the segment was that you were running a candidate and you figured out that there was this large potential voting block that could swing an election, and nobody was reaching out to them. Did you pick up back there?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, and really it's just because when you're running a campaign, and it's not at fault of the campaign, because when you're running a campaign, you have very limited resources. And so the goal is to win. And so you're looking at who are the people that are most likely to come out and vote that I can get in front of to make sure that they know my candidate and that I can guarantee that they'll vote for my candidate. So you go after the people that vote the most.
Right.
And so most of those people aren't in the housing projects, and most of those people don't look like me. So that was one of the needs that I saw. And in politics and in data, political data science or whatever, they call those voters low propensity voters because they attach a score to you based off of this whole arithmetic formula for reaching out to voters, but they attach a score to you based on how often you vote. So most of the times you'll notice that you won't get mail or you won't get certain things is because you may not be in the voting propensity that they're reaching out to. So what I saw was, okay, who is reaching out to engage low propensity voters? That's supposed to happen through our organizations. That's supposed to happen through our nonprofits, our community organizations, etc. However, like I said, because there has been such a lack of transgenerational leadership, meaning most of those people in those organizations are really a lot older and have kind of lost touch with the community. Not that that's their fault. I don't know where the ball dropped between baby boomers and millennials. I don't know where, but there's a big gap. There's a big gap of understanding on the baby boomer side, and there's a large gap of respect on the millennial side. And I don't know where it dropped. I don't know if anybody is to blame, but that has been probably the biggest issue that I see that kind of has torn up the foundation of just community organizing and what the community stands for in advocacy. So the Equity Alliance was like, let's come together. Let's put something together that is not just inclusive of us who are sitting around the table, but our goal is to build a coalition of entities, because there are organizations and nonprofits all across the state that are doing work in the communities, and a lot of them are needed, but there is no one place where we all convene. And that's where the Alliance piece comes in. I think as we got started, we realized that there were just so many needs that we had to fill in gaps before we could really get to what the core of our mission is, which is the Alliance piece. We had to start out doing voter registration. We had to build a name for ourselves. We had to do all this background work in order to get to the place where people will even listen to us, because we know our people.
and take you seriously.
And take us seriously. We had to, show and prove. And so now that we've done that, you can expect to see us come through Chattanooga, come through Memphis, come through Knoxville, come through all across the state of Tennessee, just to bring people together to have conversation and to not to tell you what to do, but to sit back and listen and say, what is it that you want to see in your community? What is it that you feel is needed in your community? Okay, these are the things you want. Here are the needs. Here are some ways that you can get them. How can we build a coalitioning entity of individuals across this city that can come together collectively and have one voice, one unified voice, and make sure that we are holding people accountable, one, but also make sure that we're going to the table with a true ask.
Okay.
Because that's something else that I saw that we don't do as a Black community. Is one, we're not really knowledgeable about civics enough to even know what a lot of these people do or what authority or power they have. But we get behind people because they're Black. We get behind people because, this person has lived a certain life and they've changed, so they understand us. But we never know what we want from them. And so when we go to the table with city council, we know that city council's primary responsibility is managing the budget. Managing the budget, managing the local issue, not even issues, but managing the local, almost like business side. So we need to make sure that we're holding city council accountable to where we want to see that budget money go. We're holding city council accountable to make sure that a lot of African-American businesses are able to bid on contracts and get that money. A lot of our issues are economic based, and a lot of the offices that we vote for and we put people in position to have the authority to help shift that. But if we don't know that, and if we're not asking that up front,
it's no wonder why we're behind.
We're behind because we're reactionary. We're waiting for something to happen. And then we're coming in and saying, you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. When really, before they even get in position, we should be saying, look, this is what we want from you.
This is what we expect.
This is what we require. Exactly. And we have 300-400 constituents behind us that if you don't do what we want, we're going to take you out next season. So you might as well get in line, get down and lay down, because this is the way it's going to go. And we have to be gangster like that, because that is how the game is being played.
These are our lives.
These are our lives. These are our lives. Like, we look at, electing our mayor. We look at electing our governor. We look at electing all these people who have this power to be able to shift people into position, to be able to put people like Maria on. We're going to make Maria the commissioner for community engagement. We're going to we have that power. But if we don't know what that power looks like, or if we don't know what to ask for, we're kind of at fault. And, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Dr. Umar Johnson says, but I do agree with the thing that he says about voting is that we always asking who to vote for and not what to vote for. We need to know what we're voting for. We're not just voting for a person, because we know people change. People will sell you a pretty story when they running for office, and they will get in their seat
and turn their backs on you.
Oh yeah, because they see all that money. Let's call it what it is. They see all that money. And if you are a person that is not used to having a lot of money, or if you are a person that is moved by money, then you get in a position and you watch somebody tell you $50,000 to turn a blind eye to this, $60,000 to pass this, or $30,000 for this zoning project. What would you almost can't blame people, because we knew they were like that before, but we thought, they're Black and they're this, or they're for the people. And a lot of times the people we think are for the people aren't for the people, which is why we have to start from the ground up and building up our community organization so that we can, one, make sure we have enough people going to the polls to put people in office. Two, we need business owners. We need anybody who has access to discretionary money to have money put aside to be able to invest in these candidates, because you're going to get what you want out the deal too. We also need people who are operatives, who know the political campaign process, who can run these campaigns. Because if not, we're going to lose, because it's a science to running the campaign. I've seen really good candidates not win because they ran bad campaigns. So we need people who are in pipeline to be trained to do that. I mean, we have a lot of needs, and I think everybody's like, oh, 2020, 2020. I'm going to be real with you. We're behind for 2020. 2020 can be a launching pad for us to really get our feet wet, which is what I'm looking for. When I come back here, I want people who want to work on campaigns to get them some training, put them on some campaigns so they can see how these campaigns are run. Because you can make a ton of money doing campaign work. You can make a ton of money. You can gain a ton of access. You can gain a ton of influence. You gain skills. I think the problem is Black people get at the table and they think it's only one chair, the one Black chair for one Black person. And if I share what I know with everybody else, if I teach everybody else, then I'm out the door. No, and that's kind of why I think I am being pulled in this way, because I know how to if I want to go make a lot of money, I know exactly how to do it. I've done it before. But what I see is the need for empowerment. The knowledge that I've gained over these few years doing this work does not belong to me. It is not mine to hoard. It belongs to the community. And as much as I can give to the community, I'm willing to pour out. I'm willing to sacrifice myself, my livelihood, whatever, in order to make sure that I can pull more people up. The more people around me that are empowered, the more empowered I will become, And this is going to sound bad. Well, it's not bad, but for a while, I studied the mob. I studied the Italian mob.
Look, I call myself the wartime consigliere.
Yes. And the one thing that they do, they put people on.
They put people on. They make them made men.
And not just anybody, people who look like them. You have to be a part of the family, meaning you have to be Italian or have a certain, whatever.
This little thing of ours, like Costa Nostra. That's
exactly
what that means. Yes.
Exactly. And I think Jay-Z said it. He said, I watched what did he say? A man that doesn't take care of his family can't be rich. I watched The Godfather. I missed that whole. And that's because he's saying, like, okay, I could go out here and marry a white woman and build with her, but then my whole lineage suffers because I'm not building up my family or my community. And that's what we have to start doing. We got to start building each other up, putting each other on. So next time you hear from me, it's going to be because I'm here and I'm looking for some people that's willing to put some ground game in to get put on. So be on the lookout. I'm telling you, heard it here first. You heard it here first.
On the Marie Mott Show.
We are ready to put some people in position that can do some political operative work. We're going to get you the training. Now, we're not going to say you're going to come in and we're going to give you a whole bunch of money. No, you're going to have to put some work in. But we're going to give you the tools that you need to be able to get to that level. Work ethic is something that you have to have. But if you need the skills, we know some people that can give you that. So that's one thing. We're also going to be looking for people who want to be in the community, engaging the community. And I'll say this, we're not just looking for people who graduated from college and have this fancy title or no, if you somebody that lives in East Lake Projects and everybody come knock on your door in the morning, I need you.
That's right.
I need you because guess what you are? You are a community organizer and you should be getting paid for that. You don't even know it. So we need people who can touch people, not just one type of people, not just.
We need all kinds of people.
We need all
at
kinds
different levels
of people. Yes, sis. Yes, Reginald. Yes, I got you, boo. Be on the lookout. But yes, we need all kinds of people at the table. We have to stop being afraid of being Black. We have to stop being afraid of our culture. We have to stop being afraid of letting people know that that's our culture. When I worked in corporate America, my name is Tequila Monique Johnson. I cannot lie. I'm Black. Born in Alton Park Projects, raised in City View, Black. And one of the things that I struggled with was, do I hyphenate my name? Like a lot of my older resumes say T.M. Johnson. Because I always thought like, okay, if I let people know that I'm this Black, they're going to look down on me, or they're not going to
understand.
They're not going to understand. They're not going to look at the fact that I have this degree and I'm smart and they're not going to do all that. So, but now that I'm in this space, I'm like, you know what? That is part of the problem. We cannot expect other people to accept us if we don't accept us. Now we have some people who are at the table that are playing that game. And that's their role. And we respect them because that's their role. And we put power behind them too, because they are our sisters in this fight. And we know that if we have them represented, we can trust them, that they are going to speak for us. They're going to pass. And we need people to pass information to us. So everybody has their role. But I will say in this work, in this community organizing work, being Black is lit.
It is.
I mean, being Black is everything. Like, oh my God, look at what we have overcome. Look at what we have survived. Look at what we come from. You know what I mean? And to be able to stand here as a Black woman with no hair, named Tequila, born in the On Park Projects, first person in my family to graduate college, and say, sis, you can do it. You whatever you want to do, you can do it. I mean that. And I think that's really what this whole conversation that I wanted to have with Maria is about, because I want her to know that in her fight, she's supported. I may not be marching on the sidelines with you, but I am there in spirit, and I will always have your back. And that's what it's about. Everybody has a lane. Everybody has a role. You may not be the person that's going to march and go shut down the city council meeting, but you may be the person that's behind the scenes data scientist that knows how to take those numbers and say, look, here's some punching places. You may be the person that owns a small business and has a couple of $1,000s that you can invest. Because when you put money in a candidate, that's an investment. Let me tell you that. That's an investment. I've seen people who own businesses who have invested in candidates that have turned around and gotten contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how it works. But we don't play the game like that. We got to start playing the game like that.
We got to learn the game first.
We got to learn the game.
And then we got to play.
Yes. And that's something that I've struggled with too. It's like, how do you teach people the game? Like, how do you teach this to people? Because it's almost like it's so unbelievable, y'all. Like, if I told you, I couldn't even tell you everything because you probably wouldn't believe 25% of it. It's something that you almost have to see. You have to kind of be involved in. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's I guess that's any game. If you learn football in a classroom, it's a completely different game than being on the field playing it. So, you know, it's a lot to unpack. It's a lot.
So one of the things I think that is very, very important is that you stated that 2020, we are behind, but it's still time.
It's still time.
It's still time where we can start organizing. We can all come together and not just when something happens, but come together with intentional purpose on how we're going to figure out how we're going to navigate the next political space and not wait till 6 months or in the middle of the campaign season or at the start of the campaign season. And then we're kind of just frantic, rolling the dice on anybody, because that's kind of what happened the last time. And that didn't work out too well.
Yeah, and there's some great organizations that are doing some of that work. I know a few people have been involved in the Emerge program. Emerge recruits women to run. And then there's Kelly. I don't know if you guys know Kelly Elliott. She has an organization, Civic Tennessee, here that does a lot of they really provide you with a lot of the tools that you need to be able to successfully organize. So they give you some of the access to some of those data tools and some of those cool things. And there's probably about 25 groups in that. That's another place where you can start. And then with the Equity Alliance, like if you really want to be attached to a Black organization, like I said, we are a statewide organization, and next year you can expect to see us in different cities. Come into a city near you to listen, to put together a plan for what the people of Chattanooga want, the people of Memphis want, the people of Knoxville want, the people of Nashville want, and bring that together collectively. So all of these things are going to start happening in 2019. Do you all have any elections in 2019?
No.
None. Oh, yeah.
Well, I think it may be school board. That may be the only one.
Watch that school board, man. Because you know how the percentage of Black kids that are in that school board watch that school board. So, you know, those are places where you can start plugging in. And all you have to do is show up, because you're probably going to be the only Black person there. Show up, show your face, let them know that you care, let them know that you're there, and people will start pulling on you because there is a need for more Black people at the table. I don't want to be the only Black person at the table. That has never been a desire of mine. I've never wanted to be someone told me the other day, were like, oh, you're an influencer. And I'm like, it just sounds so slimy. Like I've never wanted to influence anybody. I've wanted to impact people. I've wanted to empower people,
put people on,
put people in position. But I don't want the responsibility or the pressure of being the Black influencer. Like, I mean, I get why people want that, but for me, it's like, nah, that's not nothing to hang my hat on. Like, but what did I do? And I mean, I get it. Dr. King was an influencer, and he was also an impactful, and he was also an empowerer. But if influence comes with the work that I do, then that's just a plus. It's not
a desire.
It's not a desire. It's not why I'm doing this.
So we got 20 seconds left. What is just something encouraging that you want to leave the people with for the end of the year and the beginning of 2019?
I'll say Black voter turnout in Tennessee was up by 413%. People think that people look at Tennessee as a racist state. I look at Tennessee as opportunity.
Thank you. We have opportunity coming. Oh man, I cannot wait till 2019 because it's on.
It's on, baby.
I love my skin. My skin is black. It's lit.
It's lit.
Oh man, y'all know what it is. If no one is taking the time today to tell you that they love you, I love you. And guess what? It's absolutely nothing you can do about it. See you guys back next week on the Marie Mott Show. Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A Christmas Day argument almost turned deadly as Whitfield County deputies say a man choked his own mother into unconsciousness. Marilyn Flanagan taken to the hospital, her son Scott arrested, charged with aggravated assault and obstructing an emergency call, as deputies say he was trying to stop his mother from calling 911 when he choked her. An argument over a car sparked an interstate shooting. Cops say Malcolm Blessing-Green was driving down I-24 with passenger Justin Shepard when an argument broke out whether Shepard would be allowed to borrow a car. Court documents say Shepard allegedly pulled a gun and shot Blessing-Green in the hand. Shepard is no stranger to the law, has a rap sheet going back years. And Chattanooga and Hamilton County recycling centers taking live Christmas trees through the end of January. You can request curbside pickup calling the city's 311 system. Val St. John for Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
If you could wish for anything this Christmas, what would you wish for? Well, a Saudi Daisy family wished that $25,000 in credit card debt would disappear. Well, guess who got an early Christmas present? Listen up, y'all. I'm Ben Phillips with Home Rate Mortgage. I'm in the business of saving people money. And if you want to save money around Christmas time, pick that